My name Edmond Yakani, Executive Director of CEPO. As we have been made aware now, the party signatory to our access have secured constitutional amendment through amending Constitutional Amendment Bill number 12, 2024, for securing legitimacy of the extension of the transitional period for 2 more years, which roll out from 22nd February 2025 to 22nd February 2027. I would like to also alert the citizen that still we have left 6 months from the old extended transitional period, which starts from today, 22nd September 2024 to 22nd February 2025. We would like to take this opportunity to appeal to our leaders to engage on these low-hanging fruits as a task of the transitional period that they can deliver within the left 6 months of the old extended transitional period. The low-hanging fruits are as follow. Number one, the parliament need to repeal the National Election Act to resolve the challenges that are associated with the old National Electoral Act Amendment 2023, which we are aware that there's huge mathematical problems in the act, and we are aware that also some of the best practices are not properly enshrined in the Electoral Act. For instance, National Election Commission is commissioned by the law to declare elections results within 48 hours after the polling stations close, which is not possible in our context with the poor infrastructure that we have. Even in the growth of democracy is not possible, and this is going to be problematic with the National Election Commission. And this is among others that are gaps or what we call as lack of proper description of actions for securing free and fair and credible elections associated with the provision of the Electoral Act. So Parliament, please, from Monday tomorrow, repeal the current amended Electoral Act to meet best practices and standards that free National Election Commission to conduct free, fair, credible, and peaceful election. The second low-hanging fruit is the leadership of the country should immediately roll out phase 2 of the unification of the forces, and if it's possible, complete within the left 6 months of the old extended transitional period, so that when we start the newly extended transitional period, we are not talking about unification of forces. The third low-hanging fruit is His Excellency President signing the past transitional justice legislation into a law and immediately establish the institution for the transitional justice. But this time round, let the institutions not be politicized. This means the institutions should be run by individuals who are not partisan to the party signatory to the R access, since they are transitional justice institutions, and we need transitional justice before the conduct of the elections. The four low-hanging fruit is let the Council of Ministers have a resolution for the financing of the mechanisms for the implementation of the pending task of the R access to be directly from Ministry of Finance to the mechanisms without anybody holding an authority for selective allocation of funding to the institutions for the implementation of the pending task of the R access, because we have witnessed in the past the way how institutions that are associated with creating conducive environment for elections were funded. The fourth low-hanging fruit we like to bring to attention of the leadership is really open civic and political space for civil society and their various establishments to disseminate the agreement, as we are left with 2 years, and specifically things to do with civic education on transitional justice, civic education on constitutional making process, civic education on the conduct of the elections that is expected. These all actions require unrestricted space for civil society and political parties. The fourth low-hanging fruit is completion of the Tumaini peace processes, so that the Tumaini peace processes will be merged with the pending task of our access if we are developing the implementation matrix for the newly extended transitional period, which will roll out from next year, 22nd February 2025. During the International Peace Day in Juba on 21st September 2024, we heard from His Excellency First Vice President that the government is ready to continue dialogue with the parties that are non-signatory to our access, and he immediately quoted the Tumaini Peace Initiative and saying now the government is ready to roll out the continuation of the Tumaini peace talks. So we are aware that now extension that the parties who have been panicking for before is secured. We are appealing to you without any reservation, without any delay. You must return to the Tumaini peace talks for the best interest of the citizen, but also for the best interest of having an inclusive government to deliver the transitional process in the newly extended 2 years for the transitional period, which will start on 22nd February 2025. Finally, I would like to appeal to the parties and to the leaders in the presidency. As long you don't change your political attitudes that we have seen for the last 6 months, as long you don't repair the deficit in trust and confidence that we have seen for the last 6 months, as long you don't allocate adequate and timely funding for the implementation of the transitional tasks that we have seen in the last 6 months, the newly extended 2 years will never count, and you will never walk the talk as you have called for more extension of the transitional period for more 2 years. We are aware that if you repeat the same political attitudes and political practices that we have seen in the last 6 years, you will still come back to us and ask for other more extension. This time round, this extension is the last, and constitutionally, we need to sanction it to be the last. Thank you very much.